Daniel Hernandez, the rapper who is professionally known as 6ix9ine, is no stranger to controversy. He's been through a lot in the last 5 years. At first, it looked like the drama was going to just make him even more popular than ever. But then things changed. And now he has stated in new court proceedings that he's technically broke. Let's check out what's happening and all the details. First up, after jail time, in 2018, Hernandez, or 6ix9ine, was charged with a bunch of charges, including things he had done as part of the gang known as the 9 Trey Gangsters. Those charges include firearms charges, armed robbery charges, and even conspiracy to commit murder, among a bunch of other crimes. He pled guilty to 9 charges in 2019 and was facing mandatory sentencing of at least 47 years in prison. But then he was given a plea deal and the option of testifying against the gang in exchange for a much lighter sentence. He got 2 years and then was later released to serve the rest of his time at home, thanks to his higher COVID risk because of asthma. And then in August 2020, he was released completely. Right after his release from prison, it looked like he was going to come out on top right away. His first single released after his comeback debuted at number 3 on the Billboard Hot 100, and his music videos got loads of views in just 24 hours. Hernandez released a song with Nicki Minaj, and by the looks of things, everything was going really well, like he never even left, and possibly even better than before his arrest. But that didn't really last too long. Next, losing momentum. From the outside, it looks like 6ix9ine is a real gangster, the type that most rappers can only act like they are, and he has done some seriously messed up stuff. He has become sort of fascinating, almost in the same way that watching true crime shows becomes fascinating. You might not like or respect the person they're talking about, but it's interesting to see how their minds work and what's making them tick. That seems to be the case with the rapper's music and music videos too. At first, there was loads of interest because people were curious about him and what he would do next. But as time went by, they stopped really caring and stopped watching his stuff or buying his music. He was losing momentum in his career, and now it seems like he was also losing a lot of money along the way. And now he is being sued for a lot of money, something that has become a really big problem. Now we have the robbery. In April 2018, 6ix9ine and Kevin Dozier were reportedly robbed in New York at gunpoint by the same 9 Trey gangsta gang of which 6ix9ine was a part of. They thought the two men were members of Rap-A-Lot Records that were feuding with the rapper, but it was a case of mistaken identity. Since then, Hernandez has admitted that he was present during the robbery, but has stated that he was only filming it and that it wasn't his idea. He said it was his manager Shotty's idea to do the robbery. He stated all of that during his testimony against some of the other members of his gang at the 2019 trial. But even if he wasn't actively involved, he was still there, and he admitted that fact, opening him up to a civil lawsuit by the 2 victims of the crime. And that is exactly how they responded. Next, the civil lawsuit. The 2 men who were the victims of this crime filed their lawsuit in December of 2020. They want him to pay the 2 of them around $12 million in punitive and compensatory damages for everything that he was part of putting them through. And that's what led us to this point, where he responded in court, and according to the court documents, he's claiming that he's completely broke and is struggling to make ends meet. He went on to say that he isn't making money from his music anymore, and that he doesn't know if he will ever be able to make a living from making his music ever again. He then went on to say that if the courts were to award the amount of money that the plaintiffs are asking for, then they will almost surely bankrupt him in a way from which he will never recover. He also mentioned that he has a family that relies on him, and that if he was to lose everything, then it would negatively impact them too. He said that the fact that he was out of the business for 2 years made him lose momentum, and that might never be able to gain it back and become successful again. His accountant spoke for the rapper and said that Hernandez's net worth stands at technically less than 0. And that is pretty bad if you consider the advances he received a few years ago. Do you think he should still be liable to pay some of the damages to the victims of this crime? Let us know what you think by sharing your thoughts in the comments section. We love to hear from you. Next up, we'll check out what those court documents said about the life 6ix9ine has after his testimony against the gang, what his manager says about his financial situation, and a lot more. Next, fear for his life. After explaining to the court just how little money he had left, he also went on to explain his way of life. He said that he would never ever be able to lead a normal life because of the cooperation that he gave in the case against the gang, and that has made him a target for not only the 9 Trey, but also for other gangs. He concluded by saying that he lives with that fear every day. Some have said that these statements were only made to get the favor of the judge who is presiding over the case, and other fans pointed out that what he did was the ultimate betrayal in the streets, and that even other gangs could have taken offense to what he did. During an interview a little while back, 6ix9ine did admit that he didn't really regret getting involved with the gang, and that he believes that they were a big part of his road to success, that he wouldn't have gotten to where he was without them. But now it sounds like they might just have helped to ruin that same career too. What did his manager say about his money problems? His business manager, Wack100, recently shared in a Clubhouse chat that the rapper is super broke. He said that he keeps having to tell people that they can't really do anything for them because Hernandez just doesn't have the money to pay anyone. He called 6ix9ine broke and said that it's a sad thing to see such a talented young man struggling the way he is right now. He even said that the rapper can't even fill his own car because he's barely making enough money to do that. He said that he had to send him $20 for some gas. But hey, let's face it, with the gas prices going up all over the world right now, most of us are struggling to fill our cars and get around everywhere, not just formerly super famous rappers. The thing is that if people were only interested in listening to his music or watching his music videos because they were fascinated with the rapper and some of the horrible things he had done, or if they were hoping to see him change, then they really have no more reasons to watch. All of the mysteries have been solved. Next, the documentaries. A couple of documentaries have come out in recent months, showing how Daniel Hernandez became the rapper 6ix9ine that we know today. The mystery has been solved, and if there were still a few fans left that had a lot of sympathy left for him, or might not have known all of the terrible things he has done, well then, that is over now too. The docs show him as a troubled kid who is going through a lot. His dad was gone, and we know now only appeared again at his trial. He was exposed to drugs and had a horrible childhood. Anyone can feel sorry for that child, but then it starts to get darker as you see the extent of his abuse to the mother of his daughter, who he met as a teenager. One of the documentaries even shows footage of injuries that she had while waiting to be cared for at the hospital. Then it shows the 13-year-old little girl that he was accused of filming while participating in sexual acts. It's pretty sickening. One of the directors of one of these documentaries never met the rapper, but he did call him a horrible human being. Lastly, the results of the lawsuit. The civil lawsuit is still going on, and no ruling has been made. Some estimates still put the rapper's net worth at around $8 million, but obviously, that could be way off. We'll have to wait and see what the courts decide, and if he will have to pay. Do you think he will ever get his career back? Let us know in the comments. Thanks for watching.